Hello, I'm your host, Jessica Mernan, and this is the Inside and Outside podcast. I'm an author and horticultural therapy practitioner, and with my company, Basker, I help people and businesses use nature and gardening for health, creativity, and social well-being. If this is your first time here listening to the podcast, here's what it's all about. I love being inside watching TV just as much as I love being outside planting things in my garden. So we merge those two worlds together. The first half is outside things. We talk about gardening, how nature can impact our brains. We talk about the rise of birding. And then we talk inside things like the books we're reading, the shows we're watching, and other obsessions like weird trends we're following, internet gossip. One of my most favorite episodes, we talked about the Mandela effect, which blew my mind. And this is the season finale. The season went by so fast. It was so fun that I felt like we had to bring a very fun guest for our finale. So I asked Emily Kirkpatrick to join us. She is the voice and writer behind I Heart Mess, which is a roundup of the best of the worst celebrity fashion. She's on Substack and YouTube. She's also been a writer for so many publications, including ID, New York, and the New York Times. And she's the co-founder of the Lowbrow Book Club and co-host of the podcast Mess World with fellow guest of this podcast, Jessica DeFino. This episode is pop culture packed. We play a game about celebrity gardens. We talk about how celebrity and fashion journalism has changed over the years and where it's headed. And Emily brought one of the best inside obsessions of the season. I'm not going to even spoil it. I want you to be surprised. You'll just have to listen. And one small correction. In this episode, we talk about Patti Stanger, which I refer to as Patti Singer the whole time. I'm not sure why. So just know that I know I got that wrong. Thanks again for being here this season. I'm launching a very big project in January, so please make sure to sign up for my newsletter to learn more about it. This isn't being like a fake LinkedIn, like big things coming, like it's actually coming. I just don't have all the logistics yet. So sign up for my newsletter. Our next season will start in February. And if you want to be a sponsor next season, send me a message at hellobaskergardens.com. That's in the show notes too. I make the ads incredibly affordable so smaller brands can participate. And I really like to feature brands made by people who listen to this show because then we both know and are pretty confident that you're reaching the right audience. Thank you so much to this season's sponsors, My July, Semaine Health, Week of the Website. Let's get to it. But first, one last word from this week's sponsor, Semaine. They sponsored half of the episodes this season. I'm so grateful to them. And I'm even more grateful for how much they care about helping women tackle all the things that our bodies deal with. All right. I'll talk to you next season. And I'll also talk to you after this ad. Bye. This episode is brought to you by Semaine. As women, most of us have symptoms we feel that no one ever sees. Hormone changes, period pain, stress, perimenopause, menopause issue. I can think of a dozen more. Well, Semaine gets it, and they are focused on helping women restore their health at the root. Semaine has a whole range of products for all ages and stages of a woman's life. And while that range is amazing, the most important piece for me is that I 100% trust Semaine. With a lot of pseudoscience out there, finding a brand I trust is so important. Semaine's products are sourced thoughtfully and have science-backed ingredients. As someone who had periods from hell, I use Semaine's PMS support each month. As someone prone to UTIs, I love having urinary tract Cleanse and Protect on hand. I've got a lot of issues. And as someone whose nickname is Stressica, their Stressless gummies are something I work into my routine from time to time. Stressless was developed by a scientist to include a proprietary blend of clinically studied plant-based ingredients, including their cortisol care blend. A brand that you can trust and one that truly cares about the things going on in your body and brain. It's pretty much the dream brand for me and all women out there. Semaine can be found at Walmart, H-E-B Grocery, Amazon, and Thrive Market. But if you want to shop directly from their site, get 20% off by using code INSIDEOUTSIDE20. Head to SemaineHealth.com to shop their whole line of products and receive 20% off for first-time customers. That's SemaineHealth.com, SEMAINE Health.com to get 20% off with the code INSIDEOUTSIDE20. And I'll make sure to include this in the show notes too. Emily, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Do people just call you I Love Mess? Like, do they know your real name?
Most people don't know my real name. Most people call me Mess on the internet, which is kind of ideal. I mean, I guess my newsletter readers know who I am, but like people on Instagram and stuff just call me Mess, which I think is funny and kind of ideal. I kind of like that they don't know my real name and can't Google me.
I love it. So on this podcast, we talk about inside things and outside things, and we always start outside. And for you, I had an idea. Okay. So for you, you are a celebrity fashion reporter, interviewer. You work a lot with celebs. And so we're going to play a game.
Oh boy. Scary.
So celebrities report or show off their gardens a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them are so massive. And I'm kind of thinking, I'm not really sure if they're actually doing the gardening.
They're not.
but I do kind of feel like some of them are. And I also want to say, if the only way you can have a garden is for someone else to do it, by all means do that. Like, hire me. Sure. I will make your garden for you. But I just think what's interesting is some of these, celebrities, when I'm seeing their garden hauls, I'm like, but did you? So I'm going to name the celebrity that has been listed in this article on Better Homes and Gardens about celebrity gardens.
Yeah.
And you tell me if you think they actually do the gardening. And by gardening, yes, they can go and cut. I'm talking about actually planting the seeds.
Hands in the dirt. Yeah.
Hands in the dirt.
We're not just trimming. We're not just plucking fruit. I gotcha. Because that's what most of them are doing. They're trimming a flower here. They're plucking a fruit there.
Exactly. And again, no shade if they're not. Hire me to do it, right?
Sure. Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
We're going to kick it off. The same. He has a lush garden. David Beckham. It's really like a whole farm looking situation back there. Is he gardening?
Yes. David Beckham is 1,000% gardening. I would say that they also absolutely have like a landscaper involved, obviously, and like experts involved. But I've seen the video proof.
Okay.
A Posh is always filming him out in his garden, digging around, rooting around, doing stuff. And he's very proud of like his haul too. Like he's always showing off like what he grew in his gardens and stuff. I do believe David Beckham is also just like a very hands-on guy. You know, like he moved this family to the countryside. Like he does seem really interested in like raising animals and like living that lifestyle. And also, as people might recall from their documentary, he came from kind of like
humble beginnings.
Yeah. And so I think he is kind of just like grew up doing that kind of stuff. And so I think it gives him pleasure. And also I think when you're rich for that long, I don't know, it's like you circle back around to like wanting to do stuff for yourself, like wanting to like be invested in your own life. You know what I mean? Like the glamour of the being super rich and having everyone do everything for you kind of fades, I think.
Okay. And I will say, prepping for this, I watched some of his videos talking about his garden.
Yeah.
And I will say, the way that he kind of shows off some shitty looking onions,
exactly,
the pride that he feels in those, I'm like, exactly. No, he grew those.
That's real to me because it's not like they're not impressive. You know what I mean?
Right,
like, it
exactly.
is pretty like just standard. Like if you're doing any sort of casual gardening, you're like, wow,
yes,
I did this, even if it's like not incredible. I believe him.
Okay, second up is Jennifer Gardner.
Oh, these are good ones. I do think Jennifer Gardner gardens. I don't want her last name to be a lie.
Right.
But also she, this one is, I'm really torn over. Because I feel, it's hard though with celebrities too, because they live in these environments where the environment tells me like, no, but her personality tells me yes. Because she is kind of like a home buddy, homemaker. Like she does love a crafty project. She is like putzing about her mansion. And I do think yes. But I haven't seen her garden, so I also don't have a good point of reference.
Yeah, I mean, she has like a mini orchard. I mean, and she has the whole line of like kid squeezy pouches that are all about like farm stuff.
I forgot about that.
And it even says in this article that her mini orchard is fueled by a gray water system, which filters and reuses water from her own home, which I feel like you care.
She cares, but also doesn't the fact that it's a business make it kind of seem performative? You know what I mean? Like, I agree.
100%,
I agree
but
with
she
you,
just
but
seems so earnest.
I know
and
she seems so
sweet.
earnest and genuine, but then I'm always suspicious.
Okay. All right. So we're saying,
I believe in her.
Okay. So you're saying check to her.
I say check to her. I just think it's convenient.
Okay. This one, I'm very curious to see, because this one might be a little unexpected for you.
Okay.
Benny Blanco.
Oh, real.
Yes. Okay.
Benny
okay.
Blanco is like he is a hobbyist. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, he gets really into weird stuff and he's like completely devoted and enthusiastic to it. Like, I think you even see that in the way that he cooks. Like, there is no reason, like, he is unbelievably wealthy. Like, he does not have to be in the kitchen chefing like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And so I do believe that he's out there. Of course, I think he has like Hermes gardening tools. You know, and he's like hiring a gardener to also like back him up and like support his efforts. But I do believe that he is out there mixing it up. He's got a lot of time also. And
it also says that he donates the produce from his garden to food deserts in Los Angeles.
He's such a sweetie. When people were complaining about like him and Selena Gomez, I'm like, you're not seeing the vision. Like, you guys are all like way too wrapped up in appearance, because he is like, I don't know. Everything I learn about him, I'm like, I am charmed. And he's very funny.
Great. So we'll go with Benny Blanco. Yes.
I support you, Benny.
We're going to skip over this one because it's obvious and we all know it's true. Pamela Anderson. We know.
Yeah. I've seen her out there.
Okay. Not listed in this one, but in another article. One more. Ina Garten is in this one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Ina Garten's gardening, but also it's like her fabulous gay friends are out there. You know what I mean? And I also kind of think like they're mostly taking care of it and then like bringing the produce to her to like whip up something fabulous. And it's kind of like a symbiotic, mutually beneficial relationship.
Right. Okay. And our last two, Kylie Jenner.
Oh, I mean, no. Very, very obviously not. She falls into the category of like stepping out there to snip a rose off a bush, you know, lifting up a carrot once she's been told it's ready to take out. I don't think she's...
I saw her in one of the videos on there. She was patting this beautiful, huge watermelon with like her super long nails.
Yeah,
and I'm like, you did
that
not
alone, right?
Yes, you know,
the glam of it all alone is really prohibitive to that kind of activity, I would say.
And then our last one, the woman who betrayed me in 2023.
Oh wow,
Oprah.
No, I don't. For one,
because she shows off
large.
Pretty big hauls.
Yeah, I was just
so she's snipping.
The garden alone is way too large for one person to be handled. Like the Montecito estate can't be wrangled by one billionaire alone. Yeah, I don't believe Oprah
But so you don't even think she's planting anything?
I mean, I think she's planting like an occasional rose bush or something. You know, I just don't think she's overall like cultivating and scaping. And I think every now and then she gets it into her mind to be like, I want to plant a little flower garden over here.
And then they're like, here you go. Like, here's a little thing. And
right. And then she hands it off to the gardeners who like mastermind it. I mean, that's like asking, even at this point with like a Martha Stewart or something, like I believe Martha's out there and she's like mixing it up. But again, the scale of the production, the farm that she's like, the amount of projects, like you can't help but have like a team.
You know, I have a God, what is it starts with an S. I have this TV that has, what the heck is it called?
I don't know.
It's like a TV that has its own programming. I forget what it's.
Okay, I have no idea.
A Samsung. I have a Samsung TV. It's a real cutie. Like, I don't know if you've seen it. It's like a little like white frame that like sits on this little tripod. I'll include it in the show notes. It's a cutie. Yeah. And with that TV, like you have all these channel options, and one of the options is just 24 hours a day Martha Stewart channel. Wow. And I will say that for the most part, the programming, because it whenever I turn on my TV, that's what will come on before I go to a streamer.
Yeah.
And I will say I respect her gardening game so much, because so she decided to plant this entire orchard of trees. Mm-hmm. And instead of, I want to like everyone watch this episode, because to me, this is also like, this is why you're a gazillionaire. So instead of getting full grown trees, for the past 2 or 3 years, she's been growing these little saplings into trees. And it's just like this giant row of them, just kind of like waiting for them to be ready. And that it would take like 2 years. And I just respect that so much that she could full on spend millions of dollars to buy full grown trees, but she's not.
I do have to give it to Martha. She's committed to it. She does it right. You also reminded me, one of my first jobs out of college was when everybody was getting jobs on Craigslist. I had a job where I literally just had to go through all the old episodes of Martha Stewart Living and log them. So I had to like break them up by timestamps into different sections of like the different crafts and projects or whatever.
My God.
Because it was at the time where they were like digitizing the whole archive and they wanted to make like a searchable clip library. So I helped them make a searchable clip library. I did that with her show and with Emerald Lagasse's cooking show.
My gosh.
And it was very inspiring. I was like, I grew up watching that stuff, but also rewatching it as an adult. I was like, right. Stuff's good.
And this was that in Living is the one that's not like the talk showy kind of one, right? Yeah. That's like where she's like at her house. And
yes, it was at her house and she was like in the barn or she was like in her own kitchen. Yeah, it was the home.
I mean, her head gardener, I forget what his name was because he appears in all the episodes. Like it's just, I mean, I also know people that have worked for her and it was not a great experience, but just to maintain those gardens would just be so magical.
Yes. And that is something that I've always kind of liked about Martha, is kind of the like, she positions herself as the expert, but she's like never afraid to bring in a real expert, like in a specialty in their field, and kind of like prop them up as like, here's the guy, like here's my gardener, like here's the guy who takes care of the chickens. Here's, the orchard
I found
keeper.
that so fascinating too when I was watching these old episodes, and these like probably you log them, they go way back. Probably. And I was really impressed because she was doing some sort of like topiary cutting, and she brought in an expert he probably lived up the street or something, and she was doing it and she kind of wasn't doing a great job, but really like deadpanny, like, wow, I need to work on this.
Yes.
But really, I was like, oh, damn, like, I really feel like that's rare sometimes, because I hosted this panel once at South by Southwest, and it was like this author panel, and every single author on the stage did not write their book. Like, they all were talking about their ghostwriters, like, after the fact. And I do think, like, so much of that is hidden when people are doing these things, but Martha does show off the experts. You're right.
And on the show, she's like not afraid to show her like kind of failing at the craft or whatever, to like, again, kind of prop up the expert as like, well, look at how good theirs is. And,
but never laughs or smiles about it.
Never laughs or smiles about it at all. I don't know. I love her like kind of deadpan bitch attitude. It's very me. Oh
my gosh. We're going to probably talk about your deadpan style on YouTube. Thank you for playing the first ever Do They Actually Garden?
I love it.
Game.
Anytime. Love to think about it. I just went on Slate's podcast and we played a very similar game about celebrity newsletters on Substack. Like, do they actually write it or not? And that it was similarly a very fun game to think about.
Oh, I can't wait. Is that episode out?
Yeah, it came out. It came out right before Thanksgiving.
Okay, I'm going to definitely listen to that. What is the...
I see.
Oh, yeah. I know that one.
I don't know the acronym. It's in case you missed it. Yes. Slate podcast.
Okay. At first, I thought you said Slade's podcast from Real Housewives. And I was like, oh, God.
I'm available, Slade. I don't know what we would have to talk about, but would love to just watch him. Camera.
And I mean, I know you live in New York, probably in an apartment, so you don't garden, do you?
I don't. I mean, I have like my windowsill little plants and stuff, and it's like they've grown exponentially over the years, but no real gardening. I would like to. I do think this spring I might get involved with like a community garden, but.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah, there's a few in my neighborhood.
Need any help, I'm here to help you.
Okay. I can be the celebrity. You can be my garden advisor.
But I would do it for free for you because you came on this podcast.
I'm going to hold you to that.
So before we move inside, I always like to ask the guests kind of what's going on with their career, what they're passionate about right now. And I think what's interesting about you, and I think a lot of people like you that do celebrity writing and I'm curious the landscape now, because I think that, when I was interviewing Marissa Meltzer, who we kind of talked about the difference in how you used to be able to write these big pieces and I think, I think between like AI and TikTok and everything, getting actually paid real money to write these things is kind of far and few between right now.
A little impossible.
Talk about a little bit like being and I don't think you consider yourself a celebrity journalist, but you have written a lot about celebrities and interviewed them. So what is that landscape looking like right now for you?
Oh, I mean, it's incredibly bleak. It's always been incredibly bleak,
you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
It just feels like it's getting bleaker over the course of my career. I do feel like kind of people of my age cohort are maybe the last ones who saw even the possibility of having like a real full-time job doing this kind of stuff that I do, and getting paid like enough to live in the city you want to live in. I think that's very much over now. I mean, I blogged for a million years about all sorts of celebrity nonsense. And I always even used to think while I was blogging, I'm like, it's crazy that they don't get a computer to do this. Because it's super, I mean, and that's also part of the problem of like why this type of writing is being devalued. And it's like a whole systemic thing, because it's also like the corporation doesn't want you to have a point of view or a tone of voice. They want just completely generic, bland content. And so while I was writing it, I was like, I don't need to be me to do this. I don't, it's actually a hindrance that I have a personality and a tone of voice, and you want to make little jokes in my post, like they don't actually want that. And also, well, one of my great frustrations, especially when I worked at Condé Nast, is Condé Nast has like a publication policy where it's basically like so I would publish at Vanity Fair, right? I publish my blog post, and then Condé Nast has an editorial team, I guess, that syndicates that post across every publication that they own. That would be like an appropriate match for it. So I get paid once to blog for Vanity Fair, and then that article gets duplicated 10, 15 times over to a bunch of publications I don't work for. And now that's the content for them, bolstering their clicks, because all they're trying to do is meet clicks, a click quota. They don't really care how they get it. So I don't know. It's a job to me that I was always like, it's crazy it's not automated, because that's what they clearly really want.
Right.
Because also they want to push it out really fast. They want it to be really short. It has to be like, I think 250, 300 words, which is like 3 sentences at the end of the day, And so I was always like, this seems like a job to be automated. And now it's definitely going to get automated. But yeah, I don't know. My industry's weird. And also I always say, I mean, I think what my career in the last 5 years has proven is that like people do want a perspective and a tone of voice, and also like to be honest with them. And you can't really be honest with them at a major publication, because it's like either, I mean, it's double-sided. It's both the publication has ads, right, with those brands that you want to talk about, so you can't ever really talk about them real. And then they also have deals with the celebrities, and they want the celebrities to be on their cover, or they want to do a profile on the future. And if you say, hey, I didn't really care for this outfit that celebrity wore to the Met Gala, suddenly that celebrity's PR is like blacklisted you and won't work with you. So
So what publication do you think is still delivering more honest profiles, or the most honest profiles?
I mean, that's a really difficult question, because I genuinely can't think of anyone who's like able to escape this dynamic. I mean, I will say one thing I loved about working for Page Six. I mean, Page Six publishes some things that maybe aren't necessarily always like bear out. But I will say what's incredible about them is they're not beholden to any celebrities. And they maybe are the only publication who still gets to operate like that, because there is no cover and there is no contract. Like you can kind of truly say whatever you want. And in fact, they want you to, because they want to scoop the story, like they want to report out gossip that they hear, and they get really good gossip that is true, and who else can do that anymore? People Magazine certainly can't do that.
Oh my God. Do you know how many times I've talked about People Magazine on this podcast? Because it will have a story on their website that says exclusive woman has pit stains from deodorant that doesn't work. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is not an exclusive. What are you talking about?
Well, people's new thing that's incredible that's developed over like maybe the last kind of 5 years is they've started reporting on TikToks and like
That's
Reddit.
all they do is report on TikToks.
Yes, and like top trending Reddit stories. So they're also always old. It's like, you know, stuff that's been out for like a month and that like people just found at the top of the Reddit page. I don't know. It's very weird and interesting. And yeah, I always think I'm like, yeah, no, I saw that TikTok. Like, I'm good. You don't actually need to explain that back to me.
And it's not exclusive.
No, they
I
love
don't
it.
understand.
The exclusive tag is a really big deal, though, at all of these I've worked at every tabloid. The exclusive thing is like all they ever want. So if they can slap an exclusive on something, even if it's like not. I mean, all you need to get an exclusive tagline basically is like any sort of original quote. So if you go out to any of the people involved in the story or a PR or a brand or whatever, and they give you a quote and they haven't given that quote to anyone else, it's an exclusive.
Interesting.
Even if it's totally a generic line from the brand that's like, you know, we have no additional comment about this exclusive.
Then it's oh wow. Thank you for telling me that. I was
You're welcome.
always
It's very
wondering
silly.
why that
It's
word
clickbait.
was there.
It's clickbait.
Yeah, I was like, this is not.
Yeah.
And to me, exclusive kind of means also
Interesting?
somewhat interesting. Yeah,
No.
exactly.
No, exclusive literally just means like we got a reply or a quote or even an additional detail. Like if there was, a piece of information that other outlets haven't published yet. Even if it was like publicly available, like as long as they haven't published it yet, that's exclusive. And it's just clickbait.
Well, okay, let me name one more because and I know it's not the same as it used to be, but I still think with Vanity Fair, I know that there's probably some, but like when they did that Meghan and Harry article, like that was, I mean, it wasn't necessarily
Vanity Fair,
that nice.
No, it wasn't. Vanity Fair does have some incredible reporters. I will say, like deep. That's the weird thing though is there are always going to be journalists at publications who are usually contributing writers. They usually aren't even on staff who are allowed to do like this incredible deep dive reporting, like publish once a month, once every couple of months. But then you have a layer of writers on top of that, who's usually me, who has to like blog every single day in order to like bolster the website, to bolster you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's like, I think every publication kind of has a little bit of that too, but Vanity Fair does, I will say, do some really incredible reporting about like very interesting topics still, even if they aren't like trending necessarily. Like it can be kind of like a writer's pet interest that they dig into, and I do love that.
Yeah, like some sort of deep cut on a Kennedy that we don't even know about, like all
or
boys
like
school.
Adjacent to a celebrity figure. I'm thinking about one of my colleagues when I was at Vanity Fair wrote a piece about the medical medium. Do you know him?
Oh yeah, of course.
But like kind of celebrity adjacent, pseudoscience-y type of guy, but has this like huge follow. Anyway, he wrote a big piece about him that was fascinating. Or like he went deep into Hillsong and all of that.
Yeah, it's just like that kind of reporting. I guess it's like you said, it's celebrity adjacent because I'm more interested in those articles than like a cover story on like, can't even think of who they love to cover back in the day, like Brad Pitt or something. It's like, I don't really care about him and Leo's relationship.
And I feel like we know everything that we are going to know. You know what I mean? Like the celebrity's not going to offer up 30 years in some like incredible detail that we've like missed along the way. I am always kind of more interested in those peripheral figures. I think my favorite stories that I did at Vanity Fair were like, I interviewed a guy who breeds roses per your interests. And he breeds roses specifically that like celebrities, that they name after celebrities. And so I got to like interview him about that process and like how it works and how you pick the rose for the celebrity or whatever, or like even the process of a celebrity getting involved with that, which was super interesting. Or like I did a story about where I interviewed paparazzi about celebrities calling the paparazzi on themselves during the pandemic because because it became like even like super big, like Ben Affleck was doing it allegedly, I guess, even though I think we all know. But, you know, someone like that famous who would naturally get paparazzi anyway was calling paparazzi. And so it was kind of a discussion of like, what's going on? And how does this change the landscape of paparazzi photos?
You know, I think for this Christmas season, I'm going to treat myself to a Vanity Fair subscription again.
Yeah,
I used to get it, but then I felt like they got so small and like thin that I'm like,
Well,
But I
that's the
just
way with Condé Nast print publication. I mean, the Vogue of it all.
But
the way
I
it's
just
slimmed down
I
to
just
nothing.
love the type of articles that they
Yeah.
do so much.
Yeah,
It's
and I'm
this
interested
weird,
to see under Mark how it's gonna
yes.
change or not change or whatever. But yeah, interesting stuff for sure.
Okay, last question before we move inside. And I'm sure you've answered this before, maybe, but I haven't heard you answer it. Do you ever feel bad talking shit about people?
That's an interesting question. I don't know. What I do, I don't know if I really consider it. I guess it is shit talking. But I always feel like my shit talking is largely relegated to outfits that are changeable. And so I'm like, ultimately, like, if you don't like what I'm saying, just like stop doing that thing.
You're not commenting on someone's physical appearance.
No, and I never do. That
Yes.
is something that I've talked about in the past, but I do make a genuine concerted effort not to ever make it about bodies or face it. Well, unless we're talking about like plastic surgery stuff. But yeah, I try to not make it like a personal attack on the person unless they've done something truly evil or something. I don't know. Right. But like, it's not an indictment of their physical body or their behavior. Usually it's just, I think an outfit's ugly and I want to explain why, or I want to explain what they're doing with that outfit, or like how it operates in a PR strategy. I'm not trying to make a personal attack. Although it's interesting because the response to my work often, well, especially on YouTube, is often people making personal attacks on me. I
saw that you posted one on Substack about
fascinated by that.
Yeah, someone was like, "Nice shirt."
Oh God, the t-shirts. The people on YouTube are fucking obsessed with the fact that I wear t-shirts, and I genuinely don't understand. They're always like, "You think you get to judge fashion, and meanwhile you're wearing this old ratty t-shirt." It's like, yeah, it actually has no effect on my career. Like, I am completely capable of making value judgments on aesthetics while also like you not caring for my aesthetics. Also, I'm not rich and famous. I don't have to do shit. Like, I don't have a team, controlling how I appear. Like, it's not a branding strategy for me. Like, this is how I am comfortable and dress. And also, I'm like filming a free video in my apartment. Like,
you know what? This is I'm glad that you. Okay, this is something I've always, and then we'll move inside. This is something I've always kind of wondered about. And I'm not judging your outfits, but I'm saying overall, I feel like a lot of fashion writers do not have style I would like to emulate whatsoever. Sure. And now that I'm kind of thinking about that, is if some of these fashion journalists that I listen to their podcast or read what they're writing about, if they were super high fashion, I don't know if I would connect with it as much, because it's like, oh, you're part of them versus being part of me that's analyzing it.
Sure.
This has just now come to me, this revelation, because I've always kind of wondered, like, wow, she knows so, I'm not talking about you, but
you can talk about me.
This other woman knows so much about fashion,
yet
doesn't dress all that cool at all.
Sure.
And I just have it's always been a mystery to me, but maybe if they did, I wouldn't connect with it as much.
Yeah, it's complicated. I mean, on the one hand, it's like, I often think about, if you look at the way creative directors for high fashion brands dress, I would say they dress kind of like fashion grades. They dress like in a t-shirt and jeans. Like, if you see them do the bow at the end of their shows,
totally. Yeah.
It's always like super plain, super regular. It's a uniform often. And I don't know, I think it also speaks to like being really comfortable with yourself and how you express yourself. And like, if it is a t-shirt and jeans, like, you feel as much yourself as in a piece of high fashion. Like, I don't know, you're comfortable in like how you present in the world. And also, I think there's a disillusionment. I mean, I definitely felt that way I talk about this all the time with like beauty products, but like, I straight up don't believe in paying for beauty products anymore, because I've seen how beauty brands dole them out. Like, they're literally worthless to them. They're worth pennies. And so it's like, well, why am I spending so much of my hard-earned money on these things? Or sunglasses. When I found out about sunglasses, that was a huge disillusionment for me.
How cheaply made they are?
No, just how worthless how absolutely worthless they are. I used to be a fashion assistant, and so we'd call in sunglass samples from new collections to shoot them, right? And there's only two companies in the world, Luxottica and Safilo. They make all of them, both in Italy. And so you get them shipped in, and they would send you like, I don't know, 30 pairs, and each sunglass could be $300 to $800, right, at retail. And so you get to the end of the shoot and you say, great, we're all done with these. Where can we ship them back? And they'd say, don't. Like, it's literally not worth the cost of shipping to us. Like, we made those for pennies. Like, do not ship them back to us. And so the greatest grift of a fashion assistant is you get to keep all the sunglasses and resell them. That's how you make money. No one else is paying you.
It is. It's, because we've all felt a $400 pair of sunglasses and they don't really feel all that different than the Urban Outfitters.
They're not. Yeah. They're not.
Interesting.
But yeah, so I think that's also part of the, people in fashion not buying into the hype, not dressing up. I don't know, but I also think it's a spectrum. It's like the way that I show up, I don't know, to a podcast recording or on video is very different, I guess, than the way I would show up to an event at the Prada store,
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
Fashion to me is a spectrum, and I can turn it all the way up, or I can, be comfortable.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. It's just, there's some fashion writers I'm just like, you're wearing like literally an Old Navy sweater and jeans. And I'm like, but you have access to all of this stuff. But it's, I guess it's kind of, I think, similar to maybe an art historian that can't paint. It's like you can, critique art all day long, but maybe you don't know how to paint yourself.
I always think about, what's the line from The Wedding Planner where it's like those who can't like wed plan or something?
Yeah.
That's what I always think of about myself. Like those who can't dress talk about dressing. But, I think my opinions are, whether you like my personal outfits or not, I do think my opinions about other people's outfits are correct. And the same thing, it's like I can't paint, but I can certainly tell you if I like a painting or not.
Right.
I have a lot of opinions of taste, I guess, even if I don't apply them to myself.
Well, we will include links to your newsletter in the show notes because it's one of my all-time favorites. So it's great. All right. So now we're moving inside, which we've already kind of been inside, but we're going to move inside. And every episode, my guest brings an inside obsession of theirs. And the categories are TV, book, or movie, internet gossip you must discuss, a trend that you love or hate, or wild card. What are you bringing to us today?
I guess I don't know which it really falls into. I guess it's kind of a trend that I love.
Okay. Great.
This has been something I've always felt very passionately about, but I was just kind of reminded of it recently because it's like re-emerged in a powerful way, which is like celebrities creating fictional faces on social media. Like,
and by that you mean by Facetuning the shit out of it.
Really abusing the Facetune app in like a really crazy way to the point that their faces are almost just like drawn on smiley faces.
Huh?
I just think there's something unbelievable about it. And I've always just loved the way that looks. And I've just been seeing a lot of it in the past couple of weeks. So I've been thinking about it a lot more recently. Also,
and give us some examples of people that really do it.
I mean, Kris Jenner is a longtime offender. Before she got the facelift, I mean, she's equally egregious with the facelift as she is without it. But even before she got the facelift, truly just blur tooling her face into oblivion and then like smacking some eyes and a mouth back on it. Dina Lohan, people don't know about that because nobody pays attention to Dina Lohan but me, Lindsay Lohan's mom. But she is so wild. She is not only using, I don't know, again, I've never used Facetune, so I don't really know the technique behind how we're getting these appearances, but I have my guesses. But what I think Dina Lohan is doing is putting her face through the like baby Snapchat filter.
Oh.
Screenshotting it. And then taking that into a Facetune and then doing the Facetuning work on it. Because there's something so impossible about the size of her head and like the extremeness of her chin and cheekbone. I don't know how else. People are going to have to look at all of this to really understand what I'm saying. And then most recently, I've been thinking about it a lot. Oh, Aubrey O'Day also is one I feel very, very passionately about, because Aubrey O'Day isn't just Facetuning her face into something completely unrecognizable. She's truly creating impossible situations and like placing herself inside of them. Yes. She has this passion for like, I don't think she might really be traveling to these places, but she is but she's using like postcard backdrop images and then photoshopping herself into them. So she like might actually be in Greece, but she's like taking a weird professional photo of the Acropolis and then like just copying and pasting her body on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
in a way that like knows no proportion or like time or space. That's a really like phenomenal development to me and how to use Instagram. And
Yeah,
then
and I
Amy
do want to
Schumer.
say, oh,
I was just going to say Amy Schumer is my
that's,
most recent example of someone
and
who's
I'm
like doing
so
wild work.
surprised by it.
I don't know. I'm not.
I kind of just always thought of Amy Schumer, and she has endometriosis like me, so I felt like a kinship to her. But she just always seemed more of like of the people, like a woman that like, oh yeah, I'm like
Yes.
kind of chubs and like
I think that's
look at
a facade. I think that was kind of always the facade of her like brand, was seeming like a regular person. I don't know that she ever. I don't know. Maybe that's
because so when you brought this up, I went to look in the face tuning. I mean, she
Isn't it
actually
incredible?
it's a different person's
I know.
head.
I love it. I really love it, and she's fighting back in the comments that it's not doctored at all, which is another layer that I'm obsessed with of this behavior, is to then deny it and be like, this is an untouched image of me. It's like, we know that it's not. Stop it. And Amy Schumer does. She's been fighting in the comments that this is just what her face looks like now that she's lost weight, and I that's not true. No, nobody's face looks like this because of lost weight. Right.
Well,
Like her
nobody's
head is
face,
the wrong size. Like her chin is too sharp. I don't know. Like
nobody's face looks like that. Period.
Ever. No, ever. And that's kind of also like I don't know. We're in our book club this month. We're reading Baudrillard, Simulacrum and Simulation. So I'm thinking a lot about the simulacrum of it all, of like this preference for the artificial has replaced the preference for the real, and now it like no longer points back to the real in any capacity. Like the face is completely divorced from like what we know a human face to be, and like that's the preferred ideal. And there's something unbelievable about that to me. Oh, Abby Lee Miller, another example of my icon and my queen.
Yeah.
She's doing wild work, and both her and Dina Lohan are doing it on video too, which I think video takes it to like a new level of unbelievable and insanity. And also it's like in our AI age, there's something really phenomenal about it to me, because it's like, this is actually something like, you look like an AI. The final result looks AI. And like, this is something an AI absolutely could do, but because it's so much worse than anything an AI could do. Like, I know a human was involved, and there's something about that I respect and I love. And like, I like seeing the human flaws in the AI of it all.
Yes. And I am not a celebrity, yet my face has appeared on things before. And I'm so nervous about people thinking that I'm like trying to fake what I look like, that I will take, I take a new headshot like every few years just to make sure. Cause I think I went once to this event and like this woman's giant face poster was sitting next to her, like face, like side by side. I'm like, yeah, that's not what you look like. This is wild. So I'm always so fearful that people are thinking that I'm trying to change my face, that I update my headshot frequently. But I think that's the wildest thing, is that, with when you brought to my attention the Amy Schumer face tuning, like 2 like Instagram posts later is like a paparazzi shot of her, and it's like, you look completely different.
Right. I will say, as someone who is on dating apps, this is also a great concern of mine, is not looking like my photographs and then not being up to date enough or whatever, is like the constant paranoia of that. But yeah, that's the additional, I guess that's what makes it also fascinating to me with celebrities doctoring their image this way, is like, ultimately, like, they will be confronted with the real, like their audience does know what they actually look like, because they will go out in public and get paparazzi, and we will be able to compare the two. And so it is this like fictional self that can exclusively live on your social media page. And there's something about that that's like very performance art to me.
Yes.
that I'm obsessed with. And it, right, like the real being juxtaposed with this fiction, and like, I just like never admitting, that like one is a fiction, like that is a truth and a reality to you of how you look and exist on the internet. I don't know. And that we all kind of have these, like, again, we've also been reading Doppelganger by Naomi Klein in book club. And it's like the idea that we all have these digital avatars that we send out into the world to like interact on our behalf and like garner us goodwill or like get us canceled or where, and that we're like, I don't know, that you can just like fully control their appearance, and that fiction can just like exist on its own and like go about acting as you in the world.
Yes. And before we get deeper on that, because I have another thing to say to that, I do want to also call out, I don't know if you ever saw Patty Singer's Watch What Happens Live appearance. Do you know Patty Singer?
I absolutely know Patty Singer.
Okay.
I don't know if I saw her appearance.
She is the ultimate face tuner. Like,
I need to get into that.
I'm like, it's beyond, like, it's not even, it's like Amy Schumer, like, kind of like, oh, I can kind of see the resemblance a little bit.
Well, have you seen what Abby Lee Miller did to Neil Patrick Harris's face? Because I imagine it might be a little bit like that.
It's like, it's not even the same face at all. So
right, it's just a cartoon. It's a caricature.
Yes. And she, I mean, it is unreal what is happening on Patty Sing. And this is, I don't look at Instagram anymore. So when she was on Watch What Happens Live, I think this is like a year ago, I'm like, I'm so interested to see. Yeah. She was stunning. And Andy Cohen actually made a comment saying like, why I forget what he said, but along the lines of like, I wasn't sure what you were going to look like.
Right, because you're like retouching so heavily.
Like, why are you doing that?
Right,
because you're beautiful. And so that was like this moment of like really, and this, I'm going back to what you were talking about with your book club. It's so sad. And there's like this true sense of body dysmorphia and like the perception of who they are. And it just it kind of breaks my heart that they look in the mirror and feel that they have to do that. And also I was talking actually to my husband about this downstairs, because I was like telling him how excited I was about your inside thing. And I was saying like, it's also a choice to post that photo. Like, you just choose another one if you don't look good in it.
Or don't post anything at all.
Or don't post anything at all. So like that driving dysmorphia of, I have to post and I have to change myself into this new face that I've made. Because I'd have to assume like once you post the weird Facetune thing, you got to keep doing that because.
Well, I think it's kind of, I don't know. It reminds me of what happens with like plastic surgery, you know, where I think for some people, it becomes, you know, more and more extreme over time, because I think you also kind of like lose your starting point. You know, like you kind of forget what the real face looks like, or in this case, like even what human faces should look like, you know? And so I think you just get farther and farther through that. So what you consider normal shifts, you know, to the left as well. And then you kind of lose equilibrium there and just get deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole of the alterations. And so I think it's kind of the same thing with Facetune is, I think you get so used to seeing your face a certain way on the internet and tuned to a certain degree that you just think, right, so this is my new baseline. And then you just keep adding on the layers of filter on top of that. And you kind of become filter blind the same way you might become filler blind or Botox blind.
This is probably 4 or 5 years ago. One of my friends was turning 40 and she loves the Housewives. And so I was in charge of doing like the invitation was like a cast, like the premiere, like cast photo. And then I dropped in all of our faces into, and so I had to Facetune all of us, which I'd never used Facetune before in my life. And exactly what you said happened. I lost track of the reality of like, I'm like, oh yeah, like that looks really good. And then when I would hit back to the original, I'm like, oh my God. But in my mind, I was like, yeah, this is looking good, but it didn't at all. It looked insane.
Well, and people also talk a lot about like, they're always, you know, celebrities post all sorts of photos with like Photoshop fails in them or whatever. And people are always like, how can that even happen? Like, how could they not see that like the railing on the stairwell is like warped or whatever, you know? It's like, well, because they think that looks normal, you know, like that to them is like how their body is supposed to look. And so it's like, however they got there, like the means were necessary for the end, you know, like, they don't see it because they're so focused on like making this quote unquote real version of their social media bodies, I think.
Yeah, I love that you brought this as your inside thing. It truly is so fascinating and also in some ways heartbreaking because like we see them in the little square, but I just think about just the turmoil that they feel when they look at themselves in the mirror or do a photo shoot for like a real magazine that is not going to Facetune them to death.
Yeah,
and
I think that's also often a harsh reality for many celebrities. But I also think there's something, it's almost like, I mean, in the most generous interpretation of like what's going on here and like kind of ignoring the mental health crisis that is also very much a part feeding into this. It's almost like watching the birth of like a new artistic medium of like self-portraiture.
Well,
and it does
like
say
Cindy
something.
Sherman.
Yes, there's something very Cindy Sherman to me about it, and just in this idea that you can like, you are a fully malleable entity and that you can become whatever you want to come, you can look however you want to look, you can portray whatever you want to portray. But also like it does speak to like how we consume ourselves in the modern age, how we think about ourselves and our appearance, and like how we manipulate it for others' enjoyment or our own perception of self. I don't know, I think it is kind of like maybe in the future we will see in museums like people's weird warped selfies as like a form of, I don't know, portraiture photography.
But yet that's not their intention.
No, of course not. But like, and there's so much great art that's made with like not pure artistic intentions, I think.
Yeah, true. I
think it's interesting.
And if people aren't familiar with Cindy Sherman, please look her up.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
We're not talking about another celebrity that's doing, she's a great artist.
Yeah, she's a great portraiture artist.
Well, thank you so much. And actually,
thank you.
As we close this out, tell everybody about your book club, because this is not, I have a book club of 2, but we read like trashy, shitty novels. Yours is kind of more highbrow, but tell us about it.
Yeah, it's called the Lowbrow Book Club. I do it with Jessica DeFino, who's been on your podcast before and who writes Flesh World. And yeah, every month we just pick a different book, kind of digging into more like art theory or literature theory and kind of applying it to the worlds of fashion and beauty. It's honestly just kind of an excuse for Jess and I to read heavy books that we like wouldn't read by ourselves. We're like peer pressuring ourselves into reading theory that's like too complicated or too daunting. But it's been really amazing, and people are just so smart is what I learn every month talking with everybody.
Yeah, well, both you and Jessica are incredibly smart, and just the way that you both analyze things, sometimes I'm like, wait, I need to read that 3 more times. And you are very smart, but especially her with some of her theories. I'm
crazy.
Like, huh?
I know.
She's so
she
brilliant.
Blows me away. I know. And sometimes when we're recording the podcast, she just like says things casually offhand, and I'm like, excuse me? like that should be like a dense work of theory that you just casually said offhand. But okay. Yeah, she's a genius. It's crazy. I'm so grateful to have met her. I've never, I don't know, like the type of things I'm interested in, the work that I do in fashion, not many people do what I do or are interested in the type of stuff that I do. And so it's like, it's incredible to meet someone who, I don't know, I feel such a kinship with in the world of beauty doing that stuff.
Yeah. And I'll have to say, you especially, you will write about a prediction or a trend, and then it happens. Like you frequently write about how you think the Kardashians are reading your newsletter because they do the things you say.
Yeah. And also, I've explained this to my podcast listeners before, but the Kardashians and I do weirdly have a long relationship of them reading my work and doing what I say, which it sounds grandiose, but it's like I literally worked at every major tabloid in America, every major publication, and I covered them relentlessly, And so like, I do think that they like looked at People magazine when I was writing articles about them in People magazine. I know for a fact that Kanye has read articles that I wrote about him because he made a joke about it on Instagram. Uh-huh. I don't know. So there is like a weird, sick dialogue happening between, I don't think they know that it's all me or that, I'm behind it necessarily, but I do think we're weirdly in communication. And the prediction stuff has always, I don't know what is going on. I genuinely don't know. I don't really take credit for that because I am always kind of joking. And I'm just kind of thinking of, it's just the way that my sick brain works.
Give an example of something.
I mean, a pubic hair.
Yes.
Fake pubic hair on the red carpet. Total nudity on the red carpet. I predicted 3 years, I think, before it happened. Same with the Merkin. 3 years, I think, before Kim came out with it. I said she should do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all just kind of like me, having covered celebrities for a long time, like understanding how media and attention works and then just kind of taking the most like extreme wild guess I can, because we're always kind of moving towards extremes.
Yeah.
And it's genuinely freakish every time it comes to fruition. I am not expecting it. I am not planning on it. I always think it's just a joke, and then suddenly it's like extremely real.
Yeah, the Merkin, I was like...
The Merkin was a wild day for me.
Yes.
That's been a long time coming in the mess universe. That was a really insane thing.
Do you think that those... Okay, and then we'll wrap. Do you think with the Merkins, they sold out because they didn't make that many? They sold out because people bought them as just like a funny gag thing? Yeah. Or are people actually wearing them? No,
they sold out because they didn't make very many and it's a good gag. Which I think was the plan all along. I've literally not seen a single... What's really crazy to me is, well, one, that Kim isn't wearing any of them. I think it's just like stupid and a waste. Like,
right.
She's the right model for it. Like,
yes.
Why make that if you're not going to be the primary person wearing it out, I think. But then also, I literally haven't seen a single one. I saw one on Halloween that like Daring Chris's wife wore as part of her costume, and that's it. And I was like, Halloween was also kind of the prime time, I feel like, for the Merkin to really...
Like, what would be the application? Like, what costume?
Sheer dresses,
sure.
Oh, you mean like for Halloween?
Yeah, like if
I'm
you're
talking
going
about fashion.
Right, but if you're going as this, it's like, who's showing off their pubic hair in a costume? I don't know,
but it is funny.
No, it is funny. It's just, and I
don't
really...
know, but I don't know there's a specific but the lady who did wear it was Puss in Boots, so I thought that was pretty funny.
Yes.
Good punchline.
I mean, I refuse to give any of that family a cent of my income, but I was curious to feel the texture of the hair.
Yeah, plastic. I mean, it's like the cheapest plastic wig impossible. What's really funny to me is if you look at the product on her website, it like refuses to say what the hair is made out of. It just keeps saying fake hair. And I'm like, so plastic.
Right.
But it will never ever say that it's plastic hair, and I don't understand why. And also,
because if it was like pony hair, it would say it.
Right. But also, like, I do think you have to disclose the makeup, I don't know, of synthetic hair at some point. But also, like, I don't know. You can there are nicer Merkins out there. If people really want to buy a Merkin, you can buy a real hair Merkin.
Sure. Yeah.
You absolutely can. I mean, it's
next
a long
time you get your
standard.
hair cut, I'm sure you could make your
Turn
own.
into a gorgeous little Merkin. Yeah. Get some mesh material. Not at all. Get some mesh, sew it into a thong shape, and start weaving that hair in there. No problem.
Yeah.
Also, like, Merkins have been around for forever. There's a million. If you went to like an old costume supply store, I'm sure that they would have one. It's classic of film and television. That's kind of how it started, me encouraging people to wear Merkins, though, is because celebrities wear so many naked dresses and they're always wearing black G-strings with it. And I'm like, first of all, like, we can do other colors. Like, there are other colors of thongs available. We don't know. But I don't know. The black thong just became the uniform. And it seemed like they were always trying to get nakeder and like find ways to wear less. And the thong was kind of the last hindrance in being fully nude on a red carpet. And so I was like, why not just wear a Merkin? Like, you are wearing them for movies anyway, as like a famous actress. Like, why not just put one under your naked dress and like make people think you're naked, but you're just as covered up as if you were wearing the black G-string? I don't know.
Right.
That's how it began.
Well, you should be charging for this, but
I think that's
okay.
What Jess says every time when we finish a podcast. She's like, so you should have charged for all of that information. That's business advice.
Yes.
No one will pay me, unfortunately, so I have to give it for
we will
free.
keep reading I Love Mess until
Thank
then.
you.
And so if people are interested in finding, you've got a YouTube, you've got a Substack, you've got a new podcast newish podcast with Jessica.
Yeah.
I will include all of that in the show notes.
Cool.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was super fun.
That's today's show. If you like this episode or any of the Inside and Outside episodes, please leave a review. You might not think it helps, but it really does. It helps you get into the little algorithm better and also lets advertisers know that you enjoy this show. All right, on Apple, here's how you do it. Go to the homepage, scroll all the way down to the end of the episodes, and you'll see something that says rating and reviews. Hit that 5 stars, write something. Just say love it if you want to. On Spotify, go to the homepage of the show. You'll see a little tiny gear icon. It'll have a drop down that says rate this show, leave 5 stars. There you can't even write anything. And that's it. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for listening to the show, and I'll talk to you next week.